Can we have a very warm welcome, ranked 16th in the world, Commonwealth Games medalist and World Singles semi-finalist from England, Simon Skelton. Ranked number 11 in the world, newly crowned 2009 World Indoor Pairs Champion from Australia, Kelvin Kerkow.
One green.
Ordinary start to this game.
Well, we've seen that before, DRJ, where it looks like an easy open shot
shot,
and players have gone through. Sometimes even 2 feet away isn't enough.
Steamed through that, so Kelvin Kerkow will be disappointed to put just 1 shot on the card. That really ought to have been 2. Alan Thornhill centres the jack, and Kelvin Kerkow delivers the first bowl.
One green.
Both players are struggling to find full lengths to the jack. Always a little settling down period, first few hands, until they get into a rhythm.
Two green.
Kelvin Kerkow, sometimes known as Spike.
Well, this should be better. Took a while, but got there eventually.
And talking about the players searching for the pace of the carpet, the same thing applies to the spectators. And the spectators have found it already. They were applauding that when it was halfway down the green. They knew it was a good length ball.
Not a lot for Spike to aim at, just trying to get past his own balls, but he's dropping even shorter with the last delivery. Well, this really should be 2 shots now for Simon. This is the open draw opportunity. Follow his last ball, he should be in.
Spike's got this nonchalant attitude on the rink, isn't he? And he's developed in recent years the habit of hanging that walking stick around his neck.
That's excellent. That's a spare shot, and he's managed to make it.
Two shots, Simon Skelton.
2 shots to Simon Skelton in answer to the single that Kelvin Kerkow scored on the first end. Semi-finals are played 2 sets of 9 ends, with a possible 3-end tie break to separate the players if it's a tie at 1 set apiece.
Didn't get
One
the
red.
perfect result he was looking for. One ball removed. Drop away. Not sure if that's counting.
2 red.
Well, it is very quickly confirmed by Alan Thornhill, our marker.
Back to the draw for Kelvin Kerkow. Touch on the jack would be very profitable. He's getting it too.
Not only did he get it, but he got it absolutely middle ball, which meant that the jack was going back to his green one. From 2 down to 3 up.
3 green.
Yes, amazing this. The jack only moved about a foot, and yet that was far enough to bring the back bowl in as well. Jack, yes, Jack. And the obedient bowl picks it up.
He's playing this on the forehand, trying to come around the short green one. There's a little catch, of course, on the shot ball. Needs to pie past the front one, though. Has to get past that one. Lacking pace. Took one off. But he really should be losing a 3 here.
Shake of the head from Simon Skelton.
Well, as it in the last game with Simon, the spare shot opportunity. Kelvin's missed this one.
And he might regret that. That's the second time he's failed to
2 shots, Kelvin
add
Kerkow.
a shot. But scores a double to take the lead at 3-2. Keeps the mat back in its orthodox position, 3 meters from the ditch. This is the semi-final of the Welsh International Open, the last of the World Bowls Tour ranking events in the winter season, which makes it particularly interesting for those people who are jostling for places in the top 16 for next year.
Very loose hand by Kelvin. Simon taking the opportunity to put a close ball in. This should be the recovery ball.
Beautifully done. Precision stuff from both players there. Strange, isn't it? It took a perfect bowl from Simon Skelton to bring the best out of Kelvin Kerkow there.
So often the case when two players struggle with their first deliveries and one puts one close, the other one goes even closer. Now we're into trying to make a disturbance. If you miss the front red one or the jack, try and get behind. This is struggling for pace though. That shouldn't change, Kelvin.
Simon's closest bar was just over a 7-inch gap.
Using the opponent's bowl as a bit of a guide, he's got to come inside it, and he is doing so.
Just needed an edge just to take the extra pace off. Very
Green.
deliberately going for the shoulder. Well, Simon's looking to see if this ball will go out clean. Well, what Simon's looking at here is playing down on the forehand onto the ball. Now, if the green ball clears the jack and it goes, he'll score 2, maybe 3 shots. The difficulty is if it doesn't clear the jack and the jack comes back here, well, he could lose 3 shots and he's only 1 down. There's an element of risk about this, and we can't see just from our particular position if that ball's going to clear or not. We'll know if he's playing inside the line, it does clear. If he's playing a draw, then it definitely doesn't clear the jack.
Yes, I think it's too risky in any case. So playing dead weight. Nothing wrong with the weight at all. The weight was perfect. And he's fully surrounded and keeps the score to 1.
One shot, Kelvin Kerkow.
The man from Queensland adds to his score. After 4 ends of this first set, he leads by 4 shots to 2. So Simon Skelton hoping to take advantage of a loose bowl from Kelvin Kerkow, his opening delivery, and his is well, even shorter. Well, again, player A recovers, player B recovers.
1 green.
And Spike will be delighted to get a run in this tournament. Not only does he enjoy playing and winning here in South Wales, but he's been away from home for over 4 weeks. Really makes it worthwhile if you're also successful during that period, and he has been. It's been a good trip for him.
Yes, indeed, he's been playing very, very well, and not quite so well as it happens in this semi-final so far, but he's not doing too badly. 4-2 up after 4 ends.
green.
Well, apart from a few brilliant deliveries, the ball's been a little bit loose in this semi-final. The touch on the front though helped him there, because he was homing in on the jack. The jack would have moved. He might even have been shots down, but instead, 2 up. Good result there, Corky.
Well, it was. It just brought him into the correct line to fall back. He probably would have drawn the shot okay, but you say it might have touched the jack. This is a very secure shot, the way it's sitting. Simon, he was lured into it, playing over the weight in the forehand, and that will hold off all day. Only comes back as the pace comes off the last couple of metres.
2 shots, Kelvin Kerkow.
Well, Simon Skelton started this set brilliantly. 2 balls on top of the jack to start with, but he's lost his way since then. Been disconcerted by Kelvin Kerkow's disruptive tactics, and it's the Aussie who's 6-2 in front.
Better start this end. The first delivery from Kelvin. He's struggling with that aspect of his game in this first set. Gentle on the jack. Don't want too much of it.
That's the shot. Well, Kelvin Kerkow was a bit unfortunate there to move the jack into the open. He gave Simon Skelton an extra chance of getting the shot, but full marks to the man from Nottingham. He took his opportunity.
Kelvin's going chasing it, and again that holds off that little bit of pace. Simon dropping short. Kelvin walking through to have a look at this, but this is a good shot now for Simon if he wants to play it. Sorry, for Kelvin to play it. He's got the angle right. He's already had one go. No reason why he shouldn't switch into there, take the ball, run it off onto the other one. You can afford to play this a little bit narrower, bit of pace on it.
Yes, we think he's got 2 seconds. Not a lot of pace, perhaps, because just the right way to push it through and stay there for a counter.
Yes, he's playing more pace. I thought he might, just to try and hold it. Oh, it's going under. Right shot, just didn't execute it. Oh, he's looking for the jack. He's calling for the jack to try and make 3 out of this. No, got the edge of the ball. It's going to be close to a double. Just needed a little bit more pace.
2 shots, Simon Skelton.
2 shots to Simon Skelton. Just made it there. And kept his hopes alive now. He's on 4, Kerkow 6. Wanted the jack, but was quite happy to see that bowl topple over the way it did. Oh, he's a very vocal player once he gets going. Very energetic, very enthusiastic. So Simon Skelton, the number 15 seed in this Welsh International Open, still very much in contention in the first set, even though he has been beaten to the jack since the first end. He's only 2 shots behind. Kelvin Kerkow, the popular Queenslander, leads by 6 shots to 4. Kerkow has shown signs of winning the drawing battle. Didn't start off like that. The very first 2 bowls of the game were right on top of the jack from Simon Skelton, but a blistering drive from Kerkow sent them packing. And since then, Simon seems to have lost his length.
Well, he's certainly been a little bit erratic. Kelvin has been getting the better of him the first couple of bowls for the last few ends, but the recovery bowls have been pretty good. And again, no, Kelvin's not getting into the jack. The door's been left open. Simon really should draw this one. 7th end of the 9-end set. Very important that Simon scores. He's an unpredictable player, Simon Skelton, but a very dangerous one.
Both players have been falling below the standard that they've shown on their way to this semi-final.
One red.
Oh, he's not happy with that, nor should he be. Oh, Kelvin shot against, dropping good yard short.
Well, it might be a little bit early in the morning for them. 1 to red.
One red.
for the single.
Saving
One
the
shot,
best
Kelvin
to
Kerkow.
last. Draws in for the shot and scores on the pivotal 7th end. 7-4, 2 to play. Well, the Aussie deserves to be in front at this stage. He leads Simon Skelton from Nottingham by 7 shots to 4. A fair reflection of the play, because he's tended to be getting in first, even though he's fallen a bit short of the standard he'd shown in his previous 3 games. So far, a slightly disappointing semi-final this, but that's how it goes sometimes. And any minute now, we could have them both finding form. That's a good start for both players. Kelvin Kerkow, of course, missing his home comforts, and particularly missing the temperature in Queensland, which is well up in the 30s at the moment, I understand.
Yeah, so weather's very, very pleasant there. I think he's missing his family, to be honest with 4 weeks away from his family is very difficult. Kai and Kirk, of course, are his 2 boys, and Karen, his wife.
All the K's in the Kerkow family.
Oh, Simon, this needs a lot of help to get back from there. And they'd overplayed the width, looking for the green ball. Chance for Kelvin. Second opportunity to reach the red one. Oh, Kelvin twice pulling in short and tight on the line. Oh, he's leaving this green ball very, very exposed. Simon, you have to play it off in the forehand. So inviting. I'm surprised he's even taken so much time. Just over the weight, slightly narrower line. Oh, he's giving this a go.
This is a real reaching draw, this one.
Well, he still needs something on the jack. Could possibly bounce it through. Just on the inside. Missed the line by half a ball.
Well, he was unlucky there. Entitled to think that the jack would go his way. Sliced it, though, to the green bowl. No change.
Kelvin, you've missed it again. That's 3 poor deliveries. We're on the 8th end of the first set. An opportunity for Kelvin to really put this beyond Simon Skelton. He's missed that chance, and now Simon's got 1 ball to turn the jack or turn the ball off.
Well, it's been a real nervy semi-final so far, but there's a lot at stake. A place in the final of the Welsh International Open.
And that would bring this ball into play. That would be the scoring shot if he's able to get the ball out. If he's able to get the jack, which is slightly narrower on the high side, and bring it across here, he could score 3 shots. Well, this really is a very, very good opportunity. He's had 2 goes at this on the forehand. Third opportunity, he should be able to pick out the line. Certainly a lot of life about the pace. Will it hold? Oh, it's under, and that's a big, big chance gone.
And the
One shot,
ball was
Kelvin
hardly
Kerkow.
out of Simon Skelton's hand before he said it's 1 to you, because he knew that that was under green and missing his target. 4 shots the difference then as we go into the last end, so odds on Kelvin Kerkow coming away with that first set.
Well, John Price is in the analyst chair for this match, and John, that really was an open opportunity. 3 goes to get that ball out.
Certainly was, David. It's the best opportunity that Simon is going to get, I think, in this set. It's been a mixed bag, hasn't it? It's sort of mediocre stuff, some brilliant stuff from Kelvin. Not the best of semis, but Kelvin deserves to be in front at this stage.
Yes, as you say, John, it's been a bit scrappy, I have to say. But Simon Skelton, normally so good at those little running shots. You know, they're hard enough when you have one opportunity, but 3 goes at it.
Yes, you'd expect him to be closer, but it's the pressure possibly of the semi-final.
Well, we see Kelvin coming in, and really 4 shots in the last end, John. It's not not really achievable, is it?
No, you'd think it's just beyond him, but you never know. Bowl's a funny game, but I would think he'll close this one out, Kelvin.
Made a good start at least. First ball within 6 inches. That'll do nicely. But Simon Skelton being very wise there, making sure that he's reaching. He's finished behind. Short bowls are no good when you're looking for 4 shots.
Kelvin, anything behind the jack towards the red ball is good. Well, that's the head built from that point of view. It'll be cover balls from now on.
So at what stage does Simon Skelton try to trail the jack? Does he do it now, or does he put another one near his first bowl?
No, he leaves it. He has to leave it. He's looking for a little bit of disturbance on this. Off the green ball onto the jack would be good. Well, that's not bad.
1 red.
You don't really want to play too heavy with your second ball in case you lose it off the rink. Kelvin, not good, because there's a shot in the backhand. Simon's coming down to look at this. If he plays this on the backhand, drops in on the jack to there, any movement on that jack just to bring it to here would give him the opportunity of a double now, and then he's got a last ball opportunity to take this one away. So he's in with a chance here. He must make this shot first.
Is the best that Simon Skelton can possibly do is to tie this set, and it's interesting to look at how he's reached the semi-finals, because he's done so without dropping a set.
Oh,
if he loses this set, it'll be the first set he's dropped all week.
He's playing the forehand. That surprises me, playing the forehand. He's trying to run inside to the 2 green balls. That's a very difficult shot with a 3rd delivery. The set's gone. I wouldn't have played that ball. Not in a month of Sundays would I have played that.
1 shot, Simon Skelton. First
They
set,
won't
Kelvin
play
Kerkow.
any of the remaining bowls at the end, because it is now impossible for Simon Skelton to even tie the set. So the set goes to Kelvin Kerkow by 8 shots to 5.
2 green. Three green. Four shots, Kevin Kerkow.
Yes, Jason, it was a very tense. Yes, Jason, it was a very tense affair. Let's have a look at that first set. Neither player were at their best. Kelvin certainly made the early running. Good opening balls here. Good front toucher and a back toucher. Certainly the stronger player at the outset. Simon came back in the middle part of that set. Tried to get a foothold in the match. Kerkow had the advantage. Wouldn't let go. Really strong delivery. Simon scrambling but out of luck. Kerkow, a deserving winner of the first set.
Simon Skelton then on the second end of the second set, trying to recover from a very damaging blow, dropping 4 shots on the first end. If we thought the first set was a bit nervy, the second one even more so. So far, especially for Simon, he needed that.
Well, he certainly needs to get a little bit of confidence back after losing a 4, but it's just occasionally you're going to have a bad end. You just hope you don't get punished, but he did on this occasion. So that's a much better end this time.
Over 2.
There's 2. Kelvin really should be trying to close this down. Doesn't mind losing a single. He wants to take the advantage of getting a full house on the previous end and carry that forward through the set. It's the first shot job. Get a good second in.
1 red. That's 3 inches past jack high.
Well, Simon Skelton got the shot in on the forehand. It's a little bit too dangerous to play it again on the forehand. No danger on the backhand, and in fact there's a possibility of picking that jack up for 3. And look at that.
One red.
Well, Kelvin's looking at this on the other side on the forehand to try and the disturbance as we see him walking back to the mat. And he could make it on the forehand if he drops in on a high line just onto there, onto the red ball. And for Kelvin, he can get it to there. That would be perfect.
He could even use the plant shots in front if he wanted to come right up the middle, which is something he plays quite frequently.
Not making it back. Hard shot, those overweight shots. That was a little bit too firm anyway. If he had made connection with that sort of pace, Jack would have been all the way through. Should have been just drawing to it. A chance here for Simon on the backhand if he can adjust from his previous delivery. Certainly a lot more life about this one. He's on a much better line, wants to make at least 2.
Can he get the jack?
No, but he's making a double.
Two shots, Simon
a bit of
Skelton.
damage limitation there from Simon Skelton. Having dropped to 4, it's very nice to halve the damage on the very next end. 4-2 to Kerkow after 2 ends of this second set. So Simon Skelton quite encouraged by scoring 2 shots on the second end in reply to a disastrous full house he dropped on the first end of this second set. So it's 4-2 to Kerkow. 7 ends to play in the set. And both players still looking to up their game to the standard that they've been playing on their way to this Welsh International Open semi-final.
Just struggling for pace. Good line. That short ball, and Kelvin, well, that's not in his way. No, you need a clear road, Kelvin. Oh, just caught.
One green.
Needed maybe just a little bit more weight to carry him past the red one.
Chances here. Oh, unlucky.
One green.
Well, I can't blame him actually reaching that, because he had a chance of catching ball or jack, and that's okay, that's fair enough. And Kelvin obviously fields the forehand, just won't get back in time, but he's pretty good with this one. Thin edge would help. Well, got it a little bit solid.
Could be 2. pushed the shot bowl out, but maybe not out of the count.
Yes, it was really Simon's shot that he played. Get the ball solid, drop in for shot. Simon might be tempted to play this with just a little bit more pace.
Well, if he plays exactly the same bowl, the gap that he went through last time isn't there now. He couldn't possibly go through that gap between bowl and jack as he did last time. It's much smaller. So he doesn't have to change it very much.
Oh, he certainly pushed it a lot wider. Oh, he's chasing this. The weight must be pretty good if he's getting back from that line. Needs a solid bowl though, and drop in. Got it. Oh, the green ball dropped back. I have a feeling it's one to red.
One red.
Gives 100% to every delivery, Simon Skelton. This is Kelvin Kerkow, the Aussie. He's been over in this country now for quite a while because he played in the World Championships, won the pairs with Mervyn King in Potters in January. So he came over right at the beginning of January and he's still here.
Oh, this is going to be big. The big dog's out of the bag with this one. Oh, well, that's going to go on the respot. I think he's going to lose just one. So not a lot of damage done.
Yes, he was one down already, and I think he'll still be one down. There it is on
one
the
shot,
respot. The
Simon
nearest
Skelton.
one is red. It's yards away, but he's sitting with the shot. Let's have another look at that. There it goes. Well, I can't see what he had to gain from that particularly. I think that was almost bound to happen.
Well, things have livened up a little bit, John. We're now seeing Kelvin getting into attacking mode, but that was a good last ball by Simon.
Yeah, Simon needed that, David. He hasn't been really catching a line or a length, and he needed that big bowl there. Kelvin, he likes to play the big drives, and he got the crowd on their feet, I think, then.
Yeah, Simon's a very steady player, but what I've noticed over the last, certainly the last few tournaments and commentating on his matches, he is inclined to throw a bit of a wobbly end occasionally, and he did that on the first end of the set.
Yeah, and you can't afford to drop counts in this sort of format. You know, that's going to cost you a 4 or a 3 early doors. He needs to tighten up, and it might give him some confidence now after that last bowl.
Well, there's always a situation where we're starting to look at tactics. Kelvin likes the short ends, but I see that Simon's sticking to the medium lengths, 26. Do you think he should go long?
I would have been tempted to go long, but he's got to feel, you know, what he thinks on the carpet this morning. I would have been tempted to go for a longer length.
Andy Thompson watching this game. Good to see him taking an interest, DRJ.
Well, yes, he was knocked out, of course, by Kelvin Kerkow in the second round. But, he's watched almost every bowl since.
One red.
Hope he's learning something.
I'm not so sure about that. Little chance here for Simon Skelton to drop in on the jack or turn the ball off the head. He's out on a very wide line. This will have to have dead weight to get back.
Confident, reaching draw required. Doesn't want to be short.
Well, that's protected the green ball by quite a margin, so Kelvin's got a chance now. He can afford to play inside the line and rest the red ball off the head. That's what he's trying. He's trying to get to the ball. If he misses the ball, he gets good position. Oh, that's useful. It's very useful. Well, Simon will be looking to come in this on a high line. The ideal is to drop in slightly in front of the jack, try and protect his own ball a little bit, make the double, force Kelvin into something else. He has got the best back red ball. Trying to come in that high line. There it is. Will it drop back? Pity. Now we could see things a little bit different.
Yes, Simon Skelton doesn't like that one little bit. I don't think it counts. It widens the target and gives Kelvin Kerkow a very good chance here, Corky.
Well, that's what he's looking for. If he wants to play the pace. If he doesn't, then he can draw the jack through there, which would be worth a double. He's got the big dog out again. Here we go. Oh, well, no damage done. Took his own ball away, but still 2 down.
Well, I think it was debatable.
2 shots, Simon Skelton.
But the 2 shots there to Simon Skelton to the number 15 seed a load of good, because it puts him in the lead for the first time in the set after dropping 4 on the first end. He's recovered very well. Two doubles and a single. 5-4 to Skelton.
Well, it's getting interesting, John, now, isn't it?
Certainly is, David, and I think Simon would have come into the game with this plan. This is what he would like to do. Let's take a look at it. Would have had an idea to try and get in close, put a lot of pressure, a lot of close bowls, and try to force Kelvin into the big weighted bowls. Now, Kelvin's very good at it, but obviously if you got him driving, you're keeping him off his drawing length, and I think that would have been Simon's plan.
So Simon Skelton, having done the hard work to recover from that disastrous full house he dropped on the first end, starts the 5th end of the second set really well with a good opener. Both players looking a little bit more relaxed now and getting closer to the jack. We may see a real nip and tuck affair from now on in. Simon particularly working with his game, getting much closer now than he was in the first set.
Kelvin wasting no time, sees the danger building up, but hasn't pushed through it. Narrow ball. I think that one's just trying to make its way off the edge of the rink. Still in play at the moment. And Simon coming in with the cover back ball on the respot position, just in case that jack is trailed through. Kelvin going again, this time on the forehand.
More weight.
Close this time. Well, there it'll go off and it'll go back on the respot position, and that's where the red ball was placed. There's a green ball to the bottom left of your picture.
That was great thinking from Simon Skelton's point of view. That drawing to the spot. More than great thinking, good execution as well.
1 red.
Yes, Kelvin really wanted to get the jack all the way in the ditch clean, or the 2 red balls. The split of the jack wasn't going to do him any good. Simon, well, he's already played 1 ball wide on the forehand. This should be another to score a double. He's pushed it very wide. That's the perfect line. He has lost 1 before in the previous match in the quarter-final in the side gully.
2 red.
Kelvin's looking at this thinking, well, if I get the jack through, if we see this ball coming in on the very wide line.
Yes, this ball is setting problems for Kerkow, because it's 2 shots, beatable on the draw, but more to be gained by going for the jack.
Get the jack, he gets 3. Get the 2 balls out, he gets a couple.
It's all very iffy, though, isn't it? And to go for a bare jack is quite...
Oh, he's going for it.
Oh, he is.
I'm surprised at this. He really should draw this. Well, didn't feel confident about drawing it after a drive. Has to make connection with the front ball. Missed both of them. That was not the right shot, Kelvin. You're too good a player. You could have drawn that.
Only the right shot if you get it.
2 shots, Simon Skelton.
In retrospect, the wrong decision.
I thought it was the wrong shot all the way, but Simon continues his run of scoring.
7 shots in succession for Simon Skelton. A double, a single, 2 doubles. He's put that disastrous full house on the first end behind him now.
Well, John, would you have played this last shot when he played through on the runner ball?
Well, I certainly wouldn't have, Dave. I'd have been drawing at that. I think you probably would have at your best as well. I mean, very risky, a lot of room. Very surprised he played that.
I think what happened there, John, was that he's not only enabled Simon to score another double, but he's let Simon keep control of the set by continuing that run of scoring.
That's right. I mean, if it had been 1 down, he might have had a point in going for the jack, but 2 against, I think you've got to try and draw that, David, haven't you?
Well, 7-4, Mitt. Who's your money on now?
I'm going for the tie-break.
Hey, good lad. Well, we just heard Pricey. He's saying he's going for the tie-break. I'm not. I'm still sticking with Kelvin. I think he can close this match out 2-0.
Well, he'll have to pull his socks up, really, because he's he's not looked in the mood to close anything down over the last 4 ends. He's been dropping shots, and dropping fairly cheap shots at that. Perhaps that missed firing shot on the last end will be just what he needs to give himself a good talking to.
Well, in the last couple of events, certainly the World Professional Singles and also the Scottish International Open, I've watched Kelvin lose 2 matches that he should have won. He was in a position to win the games, and it really was a choice of shot or poor bowling at the end of the game that caused him to lose.
Yes.
I just wonder, has he got a sensible head on? The last ball on the last end didn't show that, but if he keeps it together, he can be absolutely brilliant.
Well, yes, I watched Kelvin Kerkow play Moshe Ayoun in the first round, the Israeli, and he was absolutely brilliant. He didn't have a great deal of opposition, I have to say, but he won 14-1, 13-0. No. That's 27 shots to 1.
Yes,
but it wasn't just the scale of the victory, it was the fact that almost every bowl was going to exactly the place that he wanted it to go. Yes, drawing to the jack, trailing, putting positional bowls in. He was magical.
Yes, that was a no game for me. That was a practice session, nothing more. Kelvin was playing. Moshe wasn't really at the game at all, which is understandable in some ways, coming from the outdoor qualification as they do in Israel. But you know, Kelvin, when you get a draw like that, you sort of think, well, you know, go out there, do your best. And the only thing that would have had a problem for him would have been, you know, if he got bored really just drawing to the jack. Well, he didn't. He kept his concentration the whole way through, which was good. Simon, 1 shot against, a lot of space to the nearest second shot, so he hasn't got a good second. He'll be tempted to have a little go at the bowl or just try and draw it off. He's looking for the squeeze. Not enough though.
Brilliant effort. Could have come out of that with 2 or 3 shots. We're expecting
1 green.
Yeah, we were expecting Alan Thornhill to confirm it as 1 to green, and he has.
Now, Kelvin, this is the sort of shot that you need to make. Missed a couple of chances for the spare bowl on the first set, and he's done it again. This is struggling. Well,
really not been on top of his game at any stage.
1 shot, Kelvin Kerkow.
3 times at least he's failed to get that 3-shot in.
Well, Pricey's found something interesting to look at. John, what have you got for us this time?
Well, we just said about Simon going in front. He needs to keep it tight now. He can't afford to let Kelvin back in. Let's take a look at this. You can see he started here on this end very loose. He's just gone 7-4 up. Now he wants to keep it tight. First 3 bowls very, very loose, David. I'm sure he's thinking, I've got to give myself a talking to here. Next bowl, really tight. Good delivery, tightening everything up, trying to close Kelvin out. So it's very important he keeps that tight game now.
Well, the only thing I've noticed, John, is that Kelvin's starting to really miss those spare shot opportunities. And you know, if he's going to win this game, he really needs to tighten up on that part of his game.
Yeah, he certainly does. He had a little chance there, obviously, but it's important for Simon as well. He's got his nose in front now. He's got to get these opening deliveries in. Keep the pressure on Kelvin.
Backhand for Kelvin Kerkow. 4 feet short with his first delivery on this end. Oh, unlucky.
Yes, but it's loose, David. That's the problem. You know, it's short with the first one, missed his line in the second, and that's just not like him. He's a better player than that.
It's a bowl past Jack High.
This ball's just going to go underneath as well.
Neither player quite nailing it.
This is struggling again for line. Well, Kelvin's game has just become very loose. He's only played one decent ball in the last 2 ends.
I think it's only one red.
Well, that's why he's called
Last
Spike.
bowl is 8 inches short of the jack.
Haircut. Well, he's waving this one in. I think the line's okay, as long as he's got the pace to reach, and he has. And Kelvin might be tempted to run all the way through with this now, try and get bowler jack. Here it comes. He needs to hold for the jack. Clean jack would be good. Oh, he's got it. And he's buried it in the ditch. Well, that's almost certainly going to guarantee the shot.
Well, his body language seems to say, at last, something's gone my way, because he's been playing big shots, but missing them. And that's not like Kelvin Kerkow. That's more like it. The toucher, of course, in the ditch is not far from the jack. It's, 15 inches away. It makes it very difficult to draw. The good news for Simon Skelton is that he's only likely to drop one shot.
Well, if it's only one shot, then he can really have a go with this ball to draw right up to the edge of the ditch. If there's only the one shot in it, even if it drops in, no damage done, I would give this every opportunity to draw the shot. Out on a good wide line.
Nothing to lose.
Has he pushed it?
He's not. Well, if it was a measure per second, it's not a measure any longer. That's all you can say for that last bowl of Simon Skelton. It needed another
Kelvin
2
Kerkow.
yards of weight to reach the lip of the ditch. And the smiling Kelvin Kerkow puts a shot on the card. It's a very important shot. It moves him even closer to Simon Skelton. Just one shot adrift now. Kelvin Kerkow's on 6, Simon Skelton on 7.
That was a big shot by Kelvin on that end, John.
Yeah, big drive, wasn't it? And certainly tells you about his mindset at the moment. He's not drawing that well. He's relying on these heavy tactics. Still going to be chances for Simon, I think.
Yes, he has been a little bit erratic, Kelvin. It's big 4 in the first end, but after that, you always just think, well, has he got the big ball in him? And it appears to be the case.
Yeah, it was a great drive, open jack, but Simon's still there. He's got a chance.
You're holding out for the tie-break, mate. I can tell it. It's in your voice.
You can tell that, can you? I'm getting desperate.
Yes. I'll come back to you to see how desperate you are the next end.
And Simon Skelton's first bowl of the penultimate end in this second set. He's got to come through the open door, which Kelvin Kerkow has left for him. A very poor opening delivery from Kerkow, a yard short, and Simon Skelton takes full advantage. Kelvin Kerkow, the Commonwealth Games singles champion, defeated Robert Wheel for the gold medal in Melbourne in 2006.
One red.
Still one to red.
Bowl is 8 inches short of jack high, and the gap is 6 inches. Your bowl is a 4-inch gap.
Simon Skelton, a Commonwealth Games gold medalist too. He won gold in the 4s in Manchester in 2002. He played second. That's where there are 4 players per team, each playing with 2 bowls. So by the end of each end you have 16 bowls in the head. Can become very complicated.
Well, he's not too far away. This is his second delivery. Well, that's good. It's half locking his own ball in. Don't think it's another shot.
2 red.
Oh, it is. Well, that was a very good ball.
That's a bonus. 2 shots.
It's left Spike with very little room to play to in the forehand, although a slight correction on his previous delivery would be enough. Giving this a good look. Now he wants to stay high of the jack. He wants to be wide of the jack. Don't touch it. Unlucky. Very unlucky.
Yep. 2 red.
Brave effort there from the Queenslander.
Well, this isn't easy for Kelvin, but it's a very nice little shot for Simon. Well, if he really wants to put the pressure on, he could drop into that position or drop into the ball, try and make a treble out of this. I think it's worth dropping in short because Kelvin's got very little available to him, as we see that ball just dropping off the edge. I didn't touch it with my little arrow there, did I? Oh, right. I'm certain it wasn't my fault.
Now 10 inches. 10 inches. Which one dropped? That one? Sorry. It's bowl short of jack high.
It really shouldn't change Simon's shot, but he's playing the backhand.
Going for the spot, I would imagine.
Honestly, don't think that Kelvin will be playing that sort of weight, but well, he's just dropping in behind again. It's giving him width. Nearly sneaked in for another shot.
Well, he could have given Kelvin Kerkow a chance with a drive on the backhand now onto the green bowl. That could squeeze into the head and do a lot of damage.
Well, that would be his favourite shot, would be the backhand drive, but he's sticking on the forehand. He's just trying to squeeze the jack with controlled weight. This is hard. This forehand really holds off. Very difficult. Yep, there it goes. Well, that's going to close out the set. 2 red, 3 in front, going into the last end. Simon's got a chance to make it 4 to win the set. Go on, Simon, how brave are you? Are you prepared to draw up on the forehand? Just get a little touch on the jack into that area, and that would make the 4. Backhand looks very difficult now.
Yes, as you said, Corky, 4 shots and would be right straight into a tiebreak without playing the last end of this set.
Gentle, 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 gentle. Simon missed the chance. He'll be happy with a double though.
Well, he tried it. He came back to the centre line. He was just a foot heavy.
2 shots, Simon Skelton.
2 shots then to Simon Skelton, and moves into a very healthy 9-6 lead as we go into the last end. But of course it is a set that he has to win in order to force a tiebreak, and 3 shots to Kelvin Kerkow would mean the game and a place in the final would go to the Aussie.
Well, we're always looking for some sort of tactical error there, or tactical change, John, but it's been fairly mixed up, hasn't it?
Yeah, you can see the length there. It's certainly varying between the 2 players. Kelvin's gone sort of long to short, but it's still Simon, I think, has got the advantage on these shorter lengths.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising that, John, because Kelvin's normally so strong on the short jack length, but he has been a little bit wayward in the second set.
Yeah, he hasn't drawn as well as we've seen him draw. Neither player has, but I think, looking at it at the moment, Simon is in the ascendancy, David. He's coming strong.
And he's starting to get those first balls in close.
And this set has certainly belonged to Simon Skelton, who may have dropped 4 on the first end, but after that he conceded only 2 singles, and he scored 1, 2, 3, 4 doubles and a single himself. Simon Skelton started his bowls career in Lincolnshire, now in Nottingham. Kelvin Kerkow, his natural environment is the outdoor greens in Queensland.
Oh, he was definitely trying to get the jack with that one. So he's looking for the trail. So Simon needs to cover that. Anywhere between the jack and the green balls would be good.
Simon Skelton must stop Kelvin Kerkow scoring 3 on this end.
Well, this one looks like it's trucking on a little bit. Well, nice spike. You don't look happy. He's turned his back on it, which means he's well under. One good ball from Simon will close this down. Still needs a bit of width, a little bit shorter than his last ball.
Well, it's been a curate's egg of a match, this one, the semi-final of the Welsh International Open. A proportion of good bowls, but some loose deliveries too. And I tend to agree with John Price. It's this man, Simon Skelton, who's coming onto his game just at the right time.
Well, this one's just going underneath. Now, he needs to stop, and he's not stopping. There's still a chance here for Kelvin. If he plays one big ball, trail the jack through 2 feet for 3 shots, and it could be the end of the match.
Sorry.
Well, he's playing for it. This is a very difficult shot to play. Always hard to get it absolutely right. And he's under it again. Looked like decent weight that time, but missed the line.
One shot, second set. Simon Skelton, match tiebreak.
So the set goes to Simon Skelton, quite deservedly so, at 10-6, and after Kelvin Kerkow won the first set 8-5, the inevitable has happened. We're into a tiebreak.
First end tiebreak.
Interesting set, John. All the same, Kelvin lifting the 4, but barely scored after that.
That's right, David, and it changed really because Simon upped his game with the opening deliveries and tightened everything up. We can actually see examples of this. Simon getting in close there, even when Kelvin's got a good bowl, he's got tight to him, making sure he can't add to it. And very important to get that opening delivery again within 6 inches, putting pressure on Kelvin. That's where the game's changed.
Well, it's going to be interesting now, John. As you know, the 3-end tiebreak usually favours the more aggressive player, but on this occasion, as you were saying earlier, Simon Skelton, well, he's the man that's looking in good form.
Yes, you normally go for the man in the ascendancy. He's come back well, but I'm sure there's going to be a twist and a turn here.
Of course, we've got to remember that Simon Skelton can be quite an aggressive player too. He's been known to move the jack around with abandon.
Not only that, DRJ, but he's also he's a risk taker as well.
14 inches.
He does play the most unpredictable shots on occasions. Makes our life a little bit difficult.
In the sense, we've got 2 of a kind on the rink at the moment. I mean, Simon doesn't fire as heavily, doesn't drive as fast as Kelvin. But you're right, they're both gamblers in a bowling sense.
Well, that's better. Probably the best end that Kelvin's had for a while with the first 2 balls.
Well, he's a class player. Now that the chips are down, you'd expect him to get his game together somehow. That's the sign of a class player, of someone with vast experience. And of course, he's been here before. He's won this event 3 times. Well, Simon Skelton, great player, beautiful shot there. Simon Skelton hoping to get into his first World Bowls Tour final.
Well, Spike still just drawing to this. Thought he might have been tempted to have a little run. Hard to get back. Here it comes. Just needs to stop though. Oh, he's dropping. Well, that's very close. It seemed to almost drop back.
1 green.
1 green. That is amazing. Yeah. I was waiting for that to fall out. It looked as if it had begun to fall.
Well, it actually rolled back again. We get a chance to see this. Watch the ball. And I thought, well, as soon as it touched the ball, it was bound to drop away. There it goes. It starts to drop away, and then it moves back towards the jack.
That's quite remarkable. Now, what could have caused it to do that? There are seams on the carpet, but that was well away from any of the seams.
I think it was scared of the Kelvin stare.
Yes, there was something uncanny about it.
Still, Simon's got 2 balls left. He can draw to it or hit it and hope to use the last ball to recover. Well, he's on a slightly inside line, so I think he's making sure with this. He needs to make sure he's arriving. Is he arriving with this ball?
I think he is.
He's trying hard.
Brilliant line. Not quite there.
Well.
1 green.
Still 1 green. Now what does Kelvin Kerkow do about this? There's 1 bowl from him and 1 bowl from Simon. And what's Kelvin's got to be thinking ahead? What is Simon going to do with his last bowl?
Well, he has to be very, very careful. Oh, it's tense, ladies, isn't it? There they go. They know what to do. Just draw it on the backhand onto the jack.
Well, he doesn't really want the jack because
he's blocking it.
Movement on the jack would be in favour of Simon. He's blocking.
Going for the old-fashioned blocker shot to try and keep Simon on the wide side, and that's not bad. He has to come around that.
Kerkow very pleased with that, and a little smile. Why is it so good, Corky?
Well, Simon was looking at this and thinking to himself, what do I play? And he's got the width to come around the ball. That's what he's trying to block. Trying to block Simon coming all the way around into that position. I have a feeling, though, he's going to go inside, take the 2 balls away, and leave the front red one, line the shot.
Yeah, that's the trouble with the blocker. You can't block every possible shot. The inside line then, plenty of weight. What's he got?
Oh, well. Oh, that was a lucky result. He was off the target and he knew it. That was very fortunate.
First end, Simon Skelton.
I think Kelvin Kerkow suspected that as soon as he saw it on that line. He covered his eyes. He couldn't look. He knew there was trouble coming. And Simon Skelton found a way of getting in there and getting the shot. Fortune on his side, the rub of the green, you might say, but it's all in the game. That's bowls.
Well, he was calling it all the way, but he knew he was inside the line. Oh, there we go. Well, anyway, he was in the area, but that was an out-and-out fluke, John, really.
Yeah, he was under the line, was he? He was playing the shot you said, Dave. He was inside it. What a lovely slide off the green. Great when you get them. It'll hurt Kelvin, though.
Yeah, it's much more damaging in the tie-break, though, John, isn't it?
Well, it certainly is at this stage, and particularly gives Simon that little bit of an advantage now. He's 1 up. He can take chances, can't he, David?
The momentum certainly behind Simon Skelton now. And he did have the good grace to apologise to Kelvin Kerkow. But one thing is certain, he'll leave that shot on the scorecard, giving him a springboard for the next two ends.
Terry Sullivan just watching there. Terry won the World Championship back in the 80s. There he is, Terry Sullivan in the glasses. And I played against Terry many years ago in the forerun of this tournament back in the 80s. I played him in the semi-final of it. Took me to lunch with his family actually that day, and then I beat him in the semi-final afterwards. Wasn't very kind. But Pricey took me out in the final. Very nasty of Pricey to do that.
Yes, I was up in Coatbridge in 1985 when Terry Sullivan won that World Indoor Singles title.
Yeah, so it was different in those days when we had different set scores and games could go on for 2 or 3 hours.
But when Terry won it, of course, in 1985, it was still under the traditional 21-up system.
Yes.
He beat Cecil Bransky from Israel in the final. But quite a memorable game.
Excellent player, Cecil Bransky. As we see Kelvin drawing on the forehand, just looking to get to the jack to turn it around the corner. Oh, he's missed the line on the inside, but he stopped on his own ball. That might be enough.
Simon Skelton asking Alan Thornhill for
yes,
his advice. Who's got the shot? 1 to green, I think he said.
Simon trying to drop down on the ball. Looks wide open in the backhand, but he's pushed it in the high side. Doesn't want that touch. Well.
Not really changed anything by pushing that green ball a little closer.
So half locked it in though.
Still favour only one. It's close enough.
Kelvin playing the forehand, quite happy just to try and drop another one in. I think he needs another one because Simon can afford to drive the 2 balls.
Might be an idea for him to put one round the back with this one.
Oh, he's going into the jack. He wants to tidy the head up a little bit. That's good. That's very good from Kelvin. I think he needed that ball.
Two green.
And you see this ball just really hooking in at the end of its travel, nestling in behind the jack. Well, Simon on the backhand looking to squeeze through, play into the balls. Yes, just trying to make sure he's arriving at the jack. Rest the ball off.
Is he reaching it?
Oh, he has to have the pace. Surely he has to have the pace. Oh, he's dropped short. I don't believe that.
Second end, Kelvin Kerkow.
A very well played end from Kelvin Kerkow there, who doesn't need to use his last ball. He'd set up a winning position which Simon Skelton couldn't beat. Was short with his final delivery, so it's 1 end apiece in this best of 3 ends tiebreak, and everything depends on the very next end. A place in the final to the winner of the 3rd end.
Well, a little bit surprised that Simon Skelton dropped short on that one, John.
Yeah, it's everything to gain, wasn't it, David? I really thought he'd play through that, get a connection. I'm just pleased it went to the tiebreak, otherwise you'd have kept on at me and criticising, so I got that one right, didn't I?
You did, mate, but it's all down to the last end. The 1 end shootout now, and of course, John, one of the things that the players often forget about is this is the 1 end that they can actually burn the head and play it again.
Yes, it certainly can, and you might see some of that, because that's a close first ball by Kerkow.
This is the one time and the only time in the match when the players can nominate to kill the end.
Well, it was Simon Skelton who went into the tie-break with the momentum behind him. But the class of Kelvin Kerkow has shown through. He's
5-inch gap.
really dominated the tie-break so far. Was slightly unfortunate to lose the first end.
I think you're being very kind there. Slightly unfortunate. I think he was downright unlucky. But he's pushed that well through, and that's, well, I'm surprised that's so far. You know, it's. I would have thought that would have been a good ball if the jack had been very close to the shot ball, but
I'm sure it's deliberate, though. I think that's exactly where he wanted it to finish.
Absolutely, but I don't think that green ball's just close enough. Not against this man. And he's very close here. He's very close to getting to the jack. There it is. And that's why I didn't think it was a good enough ball to win the end, the green one.
And it's a pumped up Simon Skelton. Gosh,
One red.
you hardly see people use that kind of energy when it comes to a draw to the jack. Normally it's the heavy bowls that inspire people to shout and to run up and to celebrate. Fantastic back toucher there from Simon Skelton. Advantage England.
Yeah, so he's calling for it. He knew it was going to be close.
Kelvin has nominated this ball to kill the end.
Yeah, well, Kelvin's nominated to kill the end, and if he can get the edge of the ball out clean, he'll be absolutely delighted. This will be quick, and it's on his favourite backhand. Now Kelvin, concentrate on getting the direction right. Well, he's going very controlled. This is the much harder weight to play. It'll dive like mad underneath. There it goes. Oh dear me, Kelvin, I'm really surprised at that. I thought you'd have played into it with a power weight.
So am I, Corky. I mean, he's so good and accurate with the 100-mile-an-hour job, and does a lot of damage with it. And after all, he was aiming to kill the end.
Well, Simon, your line match, your line one ball away, one of your opponent's balls away from being in your first WBT final. Stay away from it. Don't go anywhere near this. Against Kelvin, the last thing you want to do is open up the target. Forehand respot. Well, he's not going to respot, he's going for the blocker. He's trying to block this. Doing the right thing, trying to stay away from it. It's not going to make it back, even the centre peg. Nope, hasn't done it.
Well, it blocks the forehand, but I don't think Kelvin was interested in the forehand drive. It's a long way away from blocking the backhand drive. And surely it's got to be the full out drive this time rather than the controlled in-between weight. Surely the drive.
Well, he's made up his mind, hasn't he? And he's coming in on the wide side if he wants to play controlled weight to get to there. No, he's decided, he's saying that he wants to kill the end. If that's the case, go right at it. Get the jack off the side and kill the end.
Of course, even with the full drive, he can just clip the shot off the jack and hold the shot.
Yes, he's got it. Oh, that's more like it, Kay. That's the way you can drive, mate. Get right into it.
And it really gets the spectators' gallery going, that sort of shot. There's nobody quite like Kelvin Kerkow for playing that damaging drive. Really devastating. You watch it, he's bang on target and the jack doesn't know where to go. Whoa.
Oh, that nearly made it over the side, and goodness me, the camera crew were at risk there.
There was a game he played in Queensland not too long ago when he broke 3 jacks during one game. Split them in half. I think the jacks we are using here for the World Bowls Tour events are of sterner stuff. although one met its match in Potter's Leisure Resort during the World Championships when Jamie Hill split a jack in two. So, Kelvin Kerkow, a focused man, trying a very controversial shot there, putting the jack on the tee and trying to bury it in the ditch with the very first bowl. He's missed.
Yes, he has indeed.
So he's handed the advantage to his opponent. I can't see Simon Skelton playing that sort of shot, Corky.
No, he won't. He'll just draw to it, and Kelvin will look up at the commentary box there, a little smile at me, saying I was only a few inches away. You were, mate, but it's always a risky shot. Well, he's lost one delivery, and he can't kill the end again. He's only allowed to do it on one occasion, so that opportunity's now gone. And he'll have to go back to the draw. Oh, now Kelvin, now you're dropping short, you are, and you're going to be in the way for later on. Anything behind the jack was better. Really now, Simon Skelton is in the driving seat.
In the game played out there in the clubs, of course, if you push a jack out of bounds to the side of the rink, the end is always replayed. But for World Bowls Tour events, in order to save time more than anything else, if an end is killed, then you re-spot the jack, except for the very last end of the tie break.
Well, Kelvin was given a big chance to drop another one in. Oh goodness me, guys, what is going on here? Simon was a long way away with the second ball. That should have been on the jack.
Well, nerves have to come into play at this stage. It's a terribly nerve-wracking, nail-biting situation, sudden death, and it looks as though neither of them wants to win it at the moment.
Well, this one will be closer. This one has to be closer. Can't get three chances to put a ball within a foot of the jack, surely.
He's still running.
Oh, Simon.
Can't believe this.
What is going on? Well, it's closer, but it's still not close enough, I think.
Well, I can't see that shot, surely. Winning a semi-final and taking Simon Skelton into his first WPT final, surely.
He's pushed this out.
Third end and the match to Simon Skelton.
Unbelievable last end with these two players.
Well, they're both 2 feet from the jack, winning the game, winning the sudden death third end of the tie break for Simon Skelton. You can't
Your
say
appreciation, ladies and gentlemen, to Kelvin Kerkow.
Second set so well. That could really have gone either way. Simon Skelton
into this afternoon's final.